So I really think that this is the last chance this 76ers team has, and even as an organization, to kind of succeed in the Eastern Conference this Sunday, Game 7 versus the Boston Celtics. Because over the past few years, the East has been wide open ever since LeBron left. Ever since LeBron had just been absolutely terrorizing the Eastern Conference. Right off the bat, we had the Raptors going to the NBA Finals. Then we got the Milwaukee Bucks going to the NBA Finals. Actually, the Heat, then the Milwaukee Bucks, and then the Celtics. All of those teams were teams that were competing every single year when LeBron was in the Eastern Conference, but just failed to get to the NBA Finals because LeBron's LeBron. You know, the 76ers were one of those teams that kept coming up short in the second round. And for me, this is just a wide open spot for the 76ers right now. They have to take advantage of this. James Harden has been playing fairly well in the NBA playoffs, something that you really hadn't seen from him in his career. 40 points, 2 40-point games. That's not something that James Harden was doing in the Houston Rockets and even the Brooklyn Nets. You know, he's had injuries in the playoffs and other sorts of things that people say, you know, he's not that clutch or whatever, you know. Joel Embiid getting injured in the playoffs. A lot of other problems like Ben Simmons, you know, Markelle Fultz not being able to shoot. There's been so much thing with the 76ers, but this season, it seems like this team is just way better than those older versions of the 76ers. We have Tyrese Maxey, who has shown that he's a really solid player. You have James Harden, obviously, doing well in the playoffs. Joel Embiid is not injured. Tobias Harris, he looks pretty solid. PJ Tucker, for me, like a really, really good player that the 76ers added to the roster to kind of help them go towards a championship. He won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks, and he was definitely heavily in part to them winning a championship. So for me, wide open right now. They're going up against a Boston Celtics team who I don't think that this Boston Celtics team are as good as they used to be. They don't have their coach in Udoka. They have Joe as the head coach right now. And me personally, you know, I think Udoka was a pretty good head coach for the Boston Celtics. At times, you could just tell that they don't have that spirit with them. They kind of just, at times, give up on the defensive end and even the offensive end. Last game 6, the 76ers had to win that game. A lot of things that went wrong was the same patterns of what we saw for the Philadelphia 76ers. They make a fairly okay lead. It looks like they're going to be winning the game, but in the end, they could just not pull things together. And that was in part to Joel Embiid not being aggressive. A lot of people are blaming it on the 76ers not giving the ball to Joel Embiid, but I've seen it time and time again with Joel Embiid. When it comes to the clutch in these playoff situations, in the regular season, pretty good. But in the clutch, Joel Embiid needs to be far more aggressive. And in the post-game interview, he even said himself. It starts with him. You know, he has to be more aggressive getting the ball. I think if he did that, the 76ers would have won in this game. And me personally, the 76ers, in my opinion, I think are the better team. You look at what the Boston Celtics have: Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Okay, good to you know, superstars. But the 76ers all around, just a very, very good, solid team. We saw what they did in the regular season. Joel Embiid missed some games, which I think they could have ended up being the number 1 seed in the East. Right now, this Game 7 game, it is going to 100% come down to Joel Embiid, James Harden, and Tyrese Maxey. What do they do? And Tobias Harris. And those 4 players right there, if even like one of them has a bad game, I don't think there's any chance that this 76ers team is going to be winning Game 7 in the Garden. And now, what will happen if they lose? Right off the bat, the things that I think will happen if the 76ers lose again in the second round, Joel Embiid's time in 76ers is going to be questionable. James Harden is gone. I don't think James Harden is staying just out where he is in his career. I think the 76ers will look to ship him and get a younger player. Great idea for me. 100% great idea. James Harden has shown his flashes, but they could get a better player for James Harden. Tyrese Maxey. I think Tyrese Maxey will stay. Tobias Harris is gone. There's no way. Tobias Harris has been on the team for a while. And for him not showing up in the playoffs and living up to his max contract, there's no way this motherfucker is staying. PJ Tucker, we all know he's staying. And then you got Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, there's no way I could see the 76ers as an organization bringing back Doc Rivers just based on Doc Rivers' resume. Absolutely crazy resume in terms of choking in the playoffs. He's gone, and they're going to be looking to get a new head coach for the 76ers team. So there's going to be a lot of moving trade pieces, I think, for the 76ers if they end up losing in this second round again. It's actually just crazy to me. They always be losing in the second round. This is this is actually the year, yo. This is the year. Like, this is if the 76ers beat the Boston Celtics in this second round, they have a chance to win the NBA Finals. Western Conference, there's not that much good team. We don't know who's going to win the Western Conference. And then the East, you got the 76ers, they'll probably versus the Miami Heat or the Knicks. They're going to get to the NBA Finals easily. The Heat and Knicks, for me, this season, I've been watching them. I don't think they're on par with this Philadelphia 76ers team. And then the 76ers going up against a team like the Nuggets and Lakers. It should be interesting. But Joel Embiid, the MVP of the league, James Harden, I think those two playing up the pick and roll, doing their thing, there's no way that they would lose the NBA Finals. And this would lead to a NBA championship for Joel Embiid. So really, they just have to lock in. And as a 76ers fan, I'm hoping that they could do that. I'm hoping right off the gate, they understand what is at stake. And ultimately, it's going to come down to who wants it more, the Boston Celtics or Philadelphia 76ers. This is a Joel Embiid legacy game versus a Jason Tatum legacy game. A lot of things are going to be happening in the offseason if either of these teams lose. I could see Jaylen Brown requesting a trade to somewhere else. So we'll see what happens. Game 7, Sunday. Some reason they put it on a Mother's Day. I don't know what Adam Silver, what are you doing? And another thing I will say, last game was rigged. Like, I've seen so much crazy calls. They literally took back a foul shot or free throws from Joel Embiid. I don't know what was happening there. But with that being said, I'm definitely going to be talking about this game after it happens on Sunday. I will see you guys then. Josh the Arch, and I'm out.